right, that's plenty of fucking clapping. I got a flight to catch, okay? Let's fucking get this thing finished. After 10 years, I'm leaving. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm breaking up with China. I was like, China, I'm leaving you. It's like, why are you still here? I can do better than you. And I hate all your friends. But we learn a lot of the basic phrases. You know the basic phrases like ni hao, hello, dou xiao qian, how are you? And you know ting budong, it means leave me alone. That's not what it really means. It really means I can't understand you. That's not how it gets used. You know, you get here, you're like, help, I'm lost, I need help. People are like, ting budong, get the fuck away from me. I don't talk to you, you weirdo. My dad is powerful. That's what a 5,000-year-old language could do. Can you imagine if you could just ting budong in English? You're at home with your girlfriend and she's like, can we do something romantic tonight? You're like, I can't understand you. She's like, I've got something really important to tell you. You're like, wow, there's like a language barrier or something. She's like, I'm pregnant. You're like, ting budong! And you move to China. I don't know. I have this running theory that like sex sounds better in Chinese than in English. Because like in English, it just sounds like work, like hand job, right? No wonder it's hard to convince women. It's like, oh, you have a hard day at work today? Roll up your sleeves. I got another job for you. Blow job, right? It's not, you're not going to get paid for jobs. It's not blow charity, yeah? Chinese is way better. Chinese for a hand job. All the white guys pretending they don't know. Da Fiji flying the aeroplane. Sounds like a holiday. Oh, I got some turbulence in my underpants, sweetheart. The fucking strap in. Chinese for a blowjob. Chui xiao. Playing the flute. Start the music, everybody. No wonder all the Chinese kids are in the orchestra. I was doing a show one time and I was like, you know, the flute like this? And the Chinese guy goes, actually in China we play the flute like this. I was like, whoa, way too much information. I was doing a show in Bangkok. They said that the Thai word for a hand job is flying the kite. Which kind of makes sense, you know, because you use your hand. It's fun in parks and boys love it, right? So when I first arrived here in 2009, I tried dating people. They didn't have apps back then, so I went on Smart Shanghai Dating. Right? Yeah. And, like, they had people from around China. I didn't realize that BJ is short for Beijing. And I logged in and it was like, BJ girl, BJ girl, BJ girl. I searched by city. I'm like, none of these people are in Shanghai. I didn't realize Beijing's the dick-sucking capital of China, right? That's where you got to go to get your flute played, right? But I went on some pretty bad dates. I went on this one date with this girl, and like it was terrible. And we were walking out of there, and I just said to her, I was like, "Hey, do you want to go back to my place to watch a DVD?" And she goes, "Yes." But I feel like she didn't know why we were winking. She was just enthusiastically responding, you know. And so we go back to my apartment, and I said to her, I was like, "Hey, the DVD player in my living room's broken. We should watch the one of my..." Oh, you heard that one before? Someone's like, "Hey, wait a minute." It's like the DVD player in my living room's broken. I swear to God. She goes, "Why does everyone have broken DVD players in their living rooms?" I was like, "How many people did you go back with? What's the sample size on this, lady?" So we go to the bedroom and I'm trying to be smooth, right? I poured 2 glasses of red wine and drank both of them. And she said to me, "That's good, you can laugh." You don't have to fucking apologize for laughing at a comedy show. What a weird thing. I'm sorry. That's the only appropriate thing to do right now. So she said to me, she was like, Andy, Okay, now you have to say sorry. I don't even know what you're laughing at. That wasn't funny at all. He said I thought of another joke. You should say sorry for that. I sit at a comedy show being like, I thought of something funnier. I'm going to laugh before anybody else laughs. I've just got punchlines running in my head for days, motherfucker. You dream of being a writer? Man, this is my time. You get on the stage for your own time, all right? Sorry, I thought of something funnier than what you're about to say. She said to me for the third time, she said, Andy, how many women have you been with? And I just said, honestly, I said, Ting Budong. Was it funnier than that? I'm sorry, I'm going to take that awkward clap to get some water. Here's what she said. She said, Andy, I want you to give me Shing Shing. And I don't know what it meant. I put it in my phone, and I found Shing Shing way that means sexual activity. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And she goes, I want you to give me Shing Shing, and then I'm going to give you Shing Shing. And then we can have Shing Shing all night. We can have Shing Shing for months on end. And if you give me Shing Shing for a whole year, you can make love to me. And I was like, I need to check that dictionary again. I was like, are you saying Shing Shing way? And she goes, no. She types in, she goes, I'm saying Shin Shin, which means trust and respect. This girl was looking for deep, penetrating trust and respect. And I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. It's been a huge misunderstanding. Get the fuck out of my apartment. You never know who's speaking English these days, man. It's crazy. I was walking through Fushing Park recently, like an old guy, Lao Tolza, comes up and stops me and he was like, hello. I was like, hi. He goes, go home. I forgot all of my Chinese. I just looked at him. I was like, thank you. And then I went home. Like, I just come from home. I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't feel safe right now. I need to be out of here. I'm afraid of Ai's, old Chinese lady. They're even scarier. I got in the elevator the other day at my friend's house, and this lady was like, I said, ni hao. She goes, hi, how much do you pay in rent? Which I realized, to her, that's not a personal question. So I just want to ask her a question not personal to me. I was like, Ai, how many men have you slept with? She didn't even blink. She's like, I've slept with 3 men. I'm on my second marriage. I cheated once. And how much do you pay in rent? So I told her. But I'm fuming. I'm 35. I shouldn't be afraid of a yay hai lao tai tai. I was like, hey, how much do you pay in rent? She went, Ting Budong. But I think I think we're all starting to realize now that China is planning on taking over the world. Like, that's it. You feel how awkward that got? Foreigners are like, huh, and the Chinese are like, yeah, you didn't know about it? That's the plan. It's all the technology, man. They have supercomputers that can facially recognize 1.5 billion people that look remarkably similar. I'm not saying Chinese people all look the same, but they don't look very different. You know what I mean? No one's down filing a police report like, what was the hair color? Black. What was the race? Chinese. Okay, we've narrowed it down to everyone. You don't need facial recognition for white people. It's like, oh, purple curly hair and an asterisk tattoo. It was Sam. But you start to think about the things you learn. Like, I didn't know anything when I came here. I started to learn so much. Like, I'd never even heard of, like, durian. Smelly fruit. And I was in a hotel in Malaysia and my room, sign said, no durian allowed in the room. And I don't know why I thought durian meant prostitute. I was like, I'm on a business trip doing business. I don't have time for durian. Also, how much durian did they have in the room before they put the sign up, you know? And I asked someone working there, I was like, what's up with the durian? He's like, well, you know, they have a hard exterior, but on the inside they stink. I was like, yeah, you nailed it, man. That's, this guy's no stranger to durian at all. And I was like, so I was out of the business dinner and I'm like drinking on the way home. I was like, I wonder if I can find some durian around here. And I asked this guy, he's like, you know they have durian pizza? I was like, what? Does she just sit on the pizza and I eat the whole thing? Like, how's it work? And I found out it was a fruit and I was like, oh, so I can take these smelly hookers back now, right? I did when I first started. I did date people when I first came here. I was dating this Chinese girl, and people used to judge us. She was Chinese and I'm white. I don't know if you noticed. And like we were at the metro one day, and I didn't scan her bag. And this old guy, again, a Lao Tolza, he comes up. He's like, hey, you're a guest in this country. You don't break the laws of China. Like 5 people started yelling at me. They were yelling at her. He said that she is a traitor who's just sleeping with a white guy to get a passport. And I was like, oh, that is accurate. Wow, he really nailed you right there. Is that your dad? It looks a little like your dad. I told the guy to piss off when I got out. This guy was evil. This guy found some blood from somewhere, put it on his face, found a cop. I saw them coming. But I have this theory that in China, cops, it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. Where like if you get around a corner, they just forget you ever existed. They're like chasing after you like, oh, he's gone. Case closed. Investigation is over. I'm gonna go smoke every cigarette I can find. So I got away. I was all right. But the cop grabbed my girlfriend's wrist and I had to go back because she had my house keys. And I was arrested for assault in the Xinjiang metro station. And I was terrified. They put me in this little room. They're screaming in Chinese. I didn't know what was going on. I was there for 3.5 hours. And after 3.5 hours, I just said to the guy, I was like, maybe I can give you some cash. Did not go well. He was like, cash. It is 5 years for hitting a person. It is 5 years for bribery. You're going to jail for 10 years. Unless you say sorry. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you say sorry. You can go. I was like, you kidding me? They walked me to the next room. I said sorry. They let me go. I was like, is Chinese prison just full of people that can't apologize? They're up for parole every year like, I can't do it, put me back in. I was like, what just happened? I thought about it. I realized that's like a cultural trick. Because in the West, we just apologize like it's nothing. We have no shame, right? But in China, people don't want to lose face. Saying that to a Chinese person, it's like saying, hey, you're going to jail for 10 years unless you drink this glass of cold water. I'm like, I'm not touching that. What are you, crazy? I'm on my period. Fucking. Both my kidneys will explode. I can't do that. But I love it, man. I love this environment. I'm going to miss this environment, you know, especially like in the expat community. I feel like you can meet someone from anywhere, you know? And I try not to be racist, but it is difficult. I don't know if you've met people from other countries, but they are different and scary. That's the racist side of the room over there. I was on the metro one day and I was listening to my iPhone and the music cut out. Someone stole my phone while I was listening to it. And I was like, how stupid do I look? People are like, I can steal that guy's phone. He's listening to it. He won't. I've still got plenty of time to get away before he reacts. And I realized, I don't want to admit it, but I remembered I was sitting next to someone from Xinjiang. And I was like, you should never judge a book by its cover, but I'm going to fucking chase that book down right now. And she got caught on the escalator. There was too many people, and I ran up and I caught her off. And I said, do you have my phone? She opened her bag and gave me back my phone. And I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I don't want to get a new phone, you know. And I don't feel good about what happened, you know, but like it's sad that like it reinforced the stereotype, but it made it way easier to find my phone. I mean, like in that very narrow window, racism was like a superpower, you know? Like if I'd been standing next to a non-racist person, they'd be like, how did you do that? Like, how did you know? And I'd be like, by the power of bigotry. I had another funny one. I was on the metro one day. This girl came up and just grabbed my arm and started screaming. You know, like normal day on the metro. Of course, everybody came to help me. They stared at their phones, pretending it wasn't happening. And I didn't know what was going on. You know when people are speaking, I speak some Chinese, but people are speaking too fast and you just can't take it in. So I pulled out my phone and I started filming. Because I was like, either this gets me out of prison or I get a great viral video. And I'm filming and I didn't know what she was saying. I showed it to my friend later. And do you know what the girl was saying? She was saying, "I've found you, Jesus. You've come to save us all." And I was like, that is really not what I was expecting. I'm like, lady, if I'm your savior, we're both screwed. This is really not a good situation. I was just crying, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I told my friend he works at the Shanghai Mental Health Hospital, and he said he met a person, Chinese guy, who thought he was Jesus. And I was like, you know, some people think Jesus is white, some people think he's black. I'm pretty sure he's not Chinese. Can you imagine a Chinese Jesus? He would still be at the Last Supper 2,000 years later fighting to pay the bill. Things are changing though, a lot. You know, everything's changing. You know, now people can get reported for being on the wrong visa. Like back in the day, people would just be on tourist visas for years and years and years, you know. Not anymore though, right? And you know, you go down to Hong Kong every 30 days, you come back. My friend, she was so broke, she didn't have enough money to go to Hong Kong, so she got a trained shaman to plan to get on a boat to Taiwan, come back on a boat like a fucking refugee, you know? And the problem is she didn't speak Chinese, so she went to shaman. She accidentally got on a boat that just looks at Taiwan. And she's standing there with all her bags just sailing along the coast of Taiwan. She's like, I think we're going to stop at that pier over there. Maybe it's that pier over there. Man, they're really taking the long route to get to this. They could have stopped at any point we've been. And she starts grabbing people. She's like, when are we going to stop? When are we going to stop? And they're like, Ting Badong. Really, Ting Badong. It's Shaman. And she called me up. She's like, what's going on? And I called her. I'm like, when are they stopping in Taiwan? He's like, never. I was like, are you going to Taiwan? He's like, this is a Taiwan viewing boat. I was like, ew, put her back on the phone. She's like, what do? I'm like, did you bring anything to swim in? Drugs have changed as well. Kind of, it's like drugs, how uncomfortable does it make foreigners? Man, if you even use the word weed between foreigners, the police will visit your house and shave the side of your head as a gift. Yeah, it's just true. I don't know if you know that if you're not foreigner, but that's what we face right now. Now, back in the day, man, I remember my friend, he had a shopping bag of weed, and the cop grabbed it and goes, is this marijuana? And he goes, yeah. And the cop goes, this is illegal here, and gave him back the bag. That happened twice. And I remember now, like smoking, like you can't light up a cigarette. You can't even light up a cigarette in a gas station anymore. When I first came here, you could let off huge boxes of fireworks in any public place you wanted, you know? And I bought, do you remember those old fireworks that look like sticks of TNT from Looney Tunes? Like the long red ones? Like, there was a guy on my street on a tricycle selling them, and I'm like, well, I have to buy that. I can't not buy that. So I just bought this box and put it in my cupboard, and I forgot about it. And my housemate, he was, I was living with my housemate, my girlfriend. I got home one day, and I got home just before them drunk, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open the window, throw down a firework when they come in. Because girls like surprises. But I didn't have a lighter, so I was like, oh, it's okay, the wick's like this long. I'll just walk through my apartment, down into the kitchen, there's no windows, light it on the stove. Surprise. Nothing could go wrong with this plan. You guys might be shocked to hear this, but the fireworks that I bought off a tricycle from some guy from Anhui were not the high-quality product that I've been led to believe. I lit this thing, as soon as I turned around, half the wick was gone. I was just looking at it like, Now, any normal person would be like, it's faulty. I should just put it out. Not this guy. I was like, I need to move faster so I can throw this at people I care about. I ran into the living room, and the wick had fully entered the firework. And just when you're in danger, you know, time just like slows down. Like I was looking at it thinking, I am Never playing the piano. I wasn't even near the window. My timing was so bad. My girlfriend and housemate walk in and I go, get down! Throw it at the window. I completely miss. This thing just goes bang! Bang! I mean, the apartment was covered in red paper and gunpowder. It looked like Beijing on a clear day. Thank you, I appreciate that. My girlfriend's like, what are you doing? And I was like, it's not what it looks like. I was trying to throw it at you. And I missed. The funniest part of that story is she broke up with me a week later, not for that, for not giving her enough attention. I was like, did you want me to throw more fireworks at you? Like, what did I miss in this relationship? It's been a wild ride though, you know. About 9 years ago, me and my friend Turner Sparks, we started the local comedy scene, stand-up scene in China, and it's been amazing. I mean, we've done stand-up in like 30 cities. It's kicked off the Chinese scene, and there's so many amazing comedians I bet you guys have seen have graced this stage. It's become, you know, China's on the map of comedy worldwide. I met my wife at a comedy show. Yeah, she's half Korean, half Russian. No one's clapping that. I just call her North Korean. It's easier to remember. People always say to me, oh, is she from South Korea or North Korea? You know you can tell the difference? Because South Koreans have straight black hair and North Koreans are trapped in North Korea. So if you can see them, it's a South Korean. It's a little party trick next time you're out. You're like, oh, South Korean, 100% of the time. Someone said, you shouldn't say that, you'll offend North Koreans. I was like, how are they going to hear that joke? Like, how? I think a couple of guys in a mind like, did you hear what that Australian comedian said? You're like, yeah, I'm going to write an angry blog on this rock over here. And that's when I realized being offended is like a rich world luxury. Like, if you're offended, it means on some level your life is going, well, people over there aren't complaining. Who are they going to complain to? There's no people in Pyongyang with weird diets. There's no vegans there. No one's like, excuse me, is this gluten-free? They're like, there's no food in that bowl. That is... Yeah, it's gluten-free. It's everything free. It's just air. Try and eat it. You're not allergic to it, I promise you. I took my wife back to Australia for the first time. I introduced my grandfather. I was like, oh, she's half Korean, half Russian. He goes, two wrongs don't make a right. Pretty good hit for an old guy. I was like, sorry, sweetheart. It's really funny. It's really funny. He got you right between the eyes. It was a good hit. It was a good hit. I love it, man. I love dating mixed culture people. I love that cultural environment. Sometimes my wife's very Korean. Sometimes she's very Russian. She came in the other day. She said, baby, can we wear matching T-shirts? Very Korean, right? I was like, there's no way I would ever do that. She goes, put the fucking shirt on. Super Russian. I was like, ah! Please don't hit me again. She goes, when you and your friends watch soccer, you wear the same shirt. I was like, that's not the same thing. Me and my friends love each other. You're never going to understand that. Yeah, you clap that. I went back to her hometown for the first time in the winter last year. Oh my God. I'm from Australia. I thought snow was just in the movies. It's crazy. In her hometown, it snows for 6 months of the year. She's always bragging about how clean it is. She's like, we have no homeless people. I'm like, sweetheart, they are dying in the winter. Russian welfare system. Just go outside. Come back 6 months. See you in the spring. So we fly out there, right, and we're on the plane, and like, they said they tell you the temperature. They said outside it's minus 30 degrees, and I was just like, now sitting in front of me was a Russian guy. They are men. This guy's wearing a T-shirt. They go outside, it's minus 30. He goes, it's a little cold. I'm like, are you joking? I was panicking, man, and this was a small town. They don't have a ramp. They had a bus. We had to go outside. I was putting on every piece of clothing I own. I said to my wife, I was like, I need your clothing. You're from Russia. I'm Australian. I'm going to die. We go out there. This guy goes out wearing a T-shirt. I said, sweetheart, look at that. That is a man. That is a real man. And she goes, that's not the real man. That is a woman. I was like, oh. She had a beard and everything. Serious biceps. But one thing I realized, though, she's from Khabarovsk, Russia. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. The only thing we have in common is we both don't want to live in Russia. But I realized, and people that are not from America don't like to admit this, globally, we all have one thing in common, and that is that we all grew up watching American cartoons. Fact. I mean, people my age, you guys know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? You're like, DuckTales, anyone? Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers? People in their 30s not so happy right now. And then she started to sing the songs. She goes, Chippy Dale, kvam spishat. Chippy Dale, Lutzow się. Ani всегда идут туда, где ждет беда. Там, где они всегда успех. I was like, I don't know if that's the same show. Sounds just a little bit different. She's like, no, it's the same show. At the end of every episode, the chipmunk is saved by Mother Russia. I think they might have localized it a little bit. They have everything the same, man. They have Winnie the Pooh, except Winnie is called Vinnie Pooh. And the piglet they call America. That's crazy. I don't know. But single people, you're always worried about breaking condoms or missing periods. And what you don't realize is it's actually quite difficult to get pregnant. It's not as simple as you think. You have to be romantic every day. You have to have a plan. Like, my wife has a Russian accent. I have an Australian accent. It's not exactly mood setting. We get in the bedroom. She's like, take off your clothes. And I'm like, crikey, you ripper. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. That's not a knife. This is a dick. I'm trying to put out some candles, be romantic. She just walks in naked and goes, do you have enough seed in your testicle sack? I don't know if she was talking dirty or it was an actual question. I just run out of the room. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, I have to write that down. People need to know what you just said. It is amazing. It is amazing. I'll tell them, they'll laugh. I promise you. It's so funny. I say that she's Korean Russian. She's actually a Korean born in Russia, and she was obsessed with the idea of having like a mixed white Asian baby. And we had trouble getting pregnant. She said, baby, what if we have to adopt? You can never get mixed white Asian. People keep those. And I was like, whoa, that is amazing racism. I didn't even know about that racism. You know? I'm white and I can say that racism. That's how rare it is. But it was hard at the time, man. I felt like I wasn't a man, you know. I'd start stepping it up in the bedroom. We started role-playing. She played a KGB agent. I played a drunk backpacker. We just went in the room and talked like we normally do. She asked me questions I don't know the answers to everything. She's like, tell me who you work for. I'm like, oh, I'm taking a year off, mate. She's like, where were you on night of 25? I was like, getting spastic drunk, you cunt. Ah! She's like, tell me who you are. I'm like, oh, lost me passport. It's so romantic. You have no idea. But the scary thing about having kids is like, it's just, I don't know. When my wife was like 8 months pregnant, I told my Chinese friend, I'm like, hey, she's having a baby next month. And he went, whoosh. Foreigners have kids so quickly. I was like, what? And he goes, you know, it takes Chinese people 9 months to make a baby. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And he goes, you told me 3 months ago that you're having a kid. Next month, your wife's having a baby. That's 4 months. I was like, man, I didn't fuck her and tell you immediately. I wasn't having sex like, oh, it broke. I need to tell Steve. And And I realized that like, there's maybe a lacking of sexual education for some people here. And he was a friend of mine, and I felt obligated to just, make up some shit and see if he believes it, right? I was like, do you know when foreign babies are born, we keep them in the dark to make the eyes round? He's just like, okay, that's new. I'm like, foreign babies, they don't study as hard as Chinese babies, so we give them Google. Having kids is expensive though, right? I mean, look at you, What do? You look like you got a good job. Actually, you look like you make bread, but I don't know. Do you make bread in your spare time? You've definitely made bread at some point in your life. This is so mean because he was so good and I was like, he doesn't want to talk to me. I'm like, well, then I'll just assume things about your life. Can you just give me the industry? I don't want to like put you on the spot. For work. The what?
I make rubber parts.
Rubber parts. You make condoms? Isn't that ironic? The guy that makes condoms accidentally has 2 kids. He's like, I don't know, we should be using our products from work. I don't know. I'm like, the whole thing about having kids, the whole thing that's scary about it is, it costs so much money. I was freaking out about it. You laugh, but it's terrifying. So I started to Google, how much does it cost to raise a kid? Then I Googled other things I can do with that money. These are just facts. For any of you making a decision out there, for the same amount of money as raising a kid, you can buy a helicopter. Just think about that. No one's ever regretted buying a helicopter. No one's ever been like, oh, my helicopter's an idiot. Now I have to raise it. Never happened. Never happened. Helicopters don't get bad grades. They don't have douchebag boyfriends they bring around your house, I said to my friend who's got kids, I'm like, why do we want to have kids? And he said, oh, I want to take my life to another level. I'm like, helicopters can fly. And he said, I just want someone to love me when I'm old. I'm like, kids hate their parents. You have a helicopter, everyone will love you immediately. You'll be everyone's best friend. And he said, I think it'll make me happy. And I was like, well, maybe, but maybe not. And if you're wrong, it is much easier to sell a helicopter. So I told that story in Nanjing, and a guy in the front row goes, oh, it's much easier to sell a kid. I was like, whoa! Do you have anything in mixed white Asian back there, sir? So I don't know how 2019 is going to be remembered, but like foreigners and foreign companies are being kicked out, locked up. Stand-up scene's been just completely dismantled. They shut down the 2 big venues. It's no longer possible to get a permit anywhere in China. We can't do it anymore. I built this stage, and they took it away from me, gave it to a Chinese group, and called it GOAT. Just to like twist that knife a little bit, you know what I mean? And I don't know what to do. I mean, we're leaving. I'm moving down to Hong Kong to open a club there because it's the only place we can do stand-up, and that seems like a safe place where I can avoid all these issues that I'm trying to escape. And you get sick. I mean, Shanghai is an amazing city. I feel so lucky to have lived here for all this time. But I do worry sometimes that maybe big cities are not that great for your health. You ever just like cough for no reason? You just get like a tightness in your chest? Or like when you poop, there's blood? There's 100 people here. I'm not the only person who had this problem. At least one person's like, what's he talking about? Scary. It happened to me a bunch of times. I asked my friend who's a doctor, I was like, am I going to die? And he's like, well, I can't tell you anything without a sample. I was like, well, we're never finding out. I'm not coming to your house with that. Sunday barbecue. Did you bring sausages? Kinda. But I was at home one day, and the IE was cleaning the house, and I was in the bathroom, and I was terrified. I had a really bad medical situation. My toilet looks like the flag of Japan. Like, red in the middle, white around the outside. A couple of Japanese guys saluting the toilet. I got to do something about it. I need to get a sample. So I grabbed a coffee cup I don't drink coffee. But then I was like, how do I get the poop in the cup? Like, I could use a spoon, but we only have 2 spoons. Pretty soon it's hard to remember which one's the poop spoon, you know? Watching a movie with my wife, she's eating ice cream. I'm like, is that the... Nah, never mind, you're good. Enjoy your rocky road. Then I realized we're in China. We have all these disposable chopsticks. I was like, oh, I grabbed some. And I was kneeling in front of the toilet. I've been in China for 10 years. Not the worst thing I had at chopsticks. All those years of picking up the peanuts on the table in the restaurant prepared me for this moment. And I grabbed a little nugget. A little plop plop. A little booparoo. I was looking at it and I was like, that's not red. It's purple. My Russian wife would make all this borscht full of beetroot. Totally normal reaction. I was like, oh my God, there's nothing wrong with me. And the IE didn't realize I was in the bathroom and she opened the door to find me kneeling in front of the purple poo toilet with a shit in chopsticks and a smile on my face. And I was like, I don't know the Chinese for no, I'm not eating my own shit with chopsticks, and smiling about it as she went, ting budong, slam the door. I always get worried about, you ever get worried about getting sick here? You know, away from home? I started to think about what would be the worst thing for an expat to get sick with in China. Here's what I think it would be. Just hear me out. The worst thing to get sick with as an expat would be actual yellow fever. Because no one would believe you. How would you get help, you know? You call home, you're like, Mum, Dad, I'm dying. They're like, what's wrong? You're like, I have yellow fever. They're like, we know, that's why you're there. You're like, no. Look, I need medical supplies. They're like, all right, we're sending condoms and chopsticks, get ready. I have organ failure. Like, I don't know, try Viagra. I'm not really sure how that works. Your grandpa's like, I told him it'd kill him eventually. So I kind of grew up here. You know, I stopped drinking. I started looking after myself. Both of my kids were born in this city. And, you know, I started to take care of myself. I started working out. I don't know if you've ever been to the pool in China, but the average age is 110. I go in there. I don't know how these people got to the pool, you know? You walk in there just floating around like ghosts. I don't know if you know this, but elderly Chinese men are very fragile when they're not cutting in line. These guys, they float around, they're ripped. This one guy had the body of Bruce Lee and the head of Confucius, just floating around looking for the exit for decades. His wife's at home like, I don't know what happened. He went to the pool in 1987. I haven't seen him. They're just like, please let this be it, please. And then they get in the pool, they sag in like balls first, and they swim like sharks. They swim faster than me, they swim longer than me, and they pee in the pool just as much as I do. I have 2 kids, yeah. Oh, well, let's stop the whole show and talk about it. I love how you didn't listen to anything. Sat there being like, did he say 2? You know what? I'm going to bring it up in the middle of the next joke. No shit. I don't know if today is the problem. I love that it's feeling conversational, but there's some point where you're like, it's true. That's okay. What are you, my fucking wife? Like, what's going on here? Anyway, I had a joke about 5 minutes ago where I was in a swimming pool with old guys that was less weird than this moment right now. So every time I'm at the pool, every time I walk into the change rooms, there's always an old guy standing in front of the mirror using a blow dryer. Like, he's having the time of his life, you know. And it's not sexual. That guy hasn't felt anything down there since Nanjing was the capital. And I'm always so embarrassed, you know. I'm like, boy, so the guy just stares at me, starts going faster. He's like, ni hao, lao wai. I swear to God, I went in there one time. This guy had his leg up on the table, just blowing like this, just staring at me. Hairs flapping around. That guy's butthole is burnt into my retinas. I have nightmares where I'm chased by his butthole through my childhood memories. So one day I went to the pool and I forgot my towel, right? Went for a swim. I go into the change rooms and there is no one there. It's just me and the guy with the blow dryer. And he's like, come on, dude, time to come to the dark side. Again, he's doing the helicopter, you know. Now, I just wanted to dry my hair a little bit, you know, to get home. And here's the thing. I don't want to be dirty. I'm not trying to say that I have big genitals. I have regular-sized genitals. But the shape, you know, had a problem. It's like I need to get rid of some water. I'm just going to get rid of some surface water. Just do a little sweep. Just once, you know, twice. Maybe 3 times. I had this thing down there for not even half a second, and in walks some American. He's like, yo, bro, what the fuck are you doing with that blow dryer? I didn't know what to do. I just stared at him. Started going faster. I was like, ni hao. La why? So I had 2 kids very recently, and I was like, guys, that's my time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being out here. Keep it together, everybody.
Andy Curtin, ladies and gentlemen. Stand up for him. Give it to him. Come on, let's stand up. Give it to him. Love him. Last show in Shanghai.